I'm a quilter, so I tend to have a lot of sample pieces of fabric around that I can sort of raid. And I think because he's dressed in the red, I'd like to go with a contrasting fabric, maybe a green, or even something Christmassy like that. The red with stars on would be nice, but I think we're going to lose Santa. But, oh, that green's going to be really nice. I'm going to, oh, I don't know how the pink got in there. Have a look through and see what we've got. We might even cover the bottom seat. Oh, now, isn't that a wonderful combination? And once we put Santa in there, we're going to see it actually starts to show up. It's not the same shading, so it's not just disappearing within itself. I think I'm going to go with that, and I rather like. I'm going to have a look at both those two. I did send you some Christmas fabrics in your pack, so you should have a few little choices that you can choose from. But you really could use any fabric. It's not going to be washed, so we don't need a fabric that needs to hold its shape. Most American quilting fabrics are a beautiful quality of cotton. Some of the imported fabrics are not quite as nice. So I'm at this stage going to go with that. I'm going to paint these little side pieces where the white is showing through with some gold once I'm finished putting in his lovely carpet. And then we're going to cover that piece of wood that we're going to slide down. That's going to become the back of our chair where he's sitting. There we go. Now you can see it really nice and clearly. I'm going to cover this shortly. I'm not too sure yet which one of the fabrics I'm going to use, but it's probably going to be one of these three. They're already quite nice. I tend to be leaning towards this one. So I'm going to pad this. I'm going to round it off slightly, and I'm going to pad it, and then we're going to cover it. I'll be back to show you how I do that in a moment. Every so often you're going to see a little head pop up over here. I must explain to you, my spaniel is actually lying between me and my table. And I'm going to just move this camera slightly so you can see Penny. Hello, Penny. Say hello, everybody. Oh, we've got a very excited little girl. So, when you see that movement, it's nothing strange. It's just Penny. She insists on lying between me and where I work. Right, let's just get our camera positions again. There we go. Great. I'm just snipping off the loose edges on our fabric. I don't want all these little threads and stuff. And I'm going to just straighten that side nicely. I'm going to be very daring right now and just shove it full of glue, and I'm going to put it in place. I love working with my glue syringe. I tend to have 2 or 3 of them lying around wherever I'm working. It just gives you a far better control over your glue. I push my glue into the end of a piece of foam, which will keep my glue from drying. But I believe if you put it in a little bit of water, it works very well as well. I want to spread our glue out just a little bitty. And let's go. I want to start my carpet right up here. So I'm going to just gently hold it in place there and push it down from there. And let's see how we're doing there. Great. Just want to get our things down just slightly better. Oh, there we go. And never hurts to have a little piece of a ruler or a little piece of wood when you're working in shape, especially when you're working with upholstery and stuff. It just helps you get into these places. Because my nails are long, I obviously can't with my fingertips. So, and I've just seen now I'm not quite as high as I want to be, so I'm going to lift it slightly, and I'm going to do it again. Just put a little bit more glue on. I think most of my glue is actually off at the moment, so it's just, I'm going to put some glue in here this time. There we go. And there we go. To round off the top of my Santa Claus chair, I'm just using my bottle that's got paint in it, but you can use anything that's slightly rounded. And just gently, I'm using balsa wood, which is just so nice to work with because it is so soft. There we go. And I should be able to just gently break that away and cut the rest away with my scalpel. Be careful you don't cut your fingers. This is almost like polystyrene. It's very, very soft. I'm going to just put it down. It's going to be easier for me to cut through. Okay, and cut this side. Now I just want to make sure that I've got it fairly even. So before I cut that piece off, I want to just check it here. Oh, that's my other spaniel outside, James. He's playing with a ball. It's dinner time in our home, so we have happy hour, so you're going to hear most of my animals barking and playing in the background. But I wanted to finish this today before we go on to other things tomorrow. Great. My glue dispenser and my sanding paper. Just want to round that nicely. I'm not going to panic about it being absolutely perfect at this stage because I'm going to upholster it. So I want to just get it that it's a fairly good shape and that both sides are even. See, this one is slightly more than this side, so I'm just going to sand that down until I get them the same, and then I'm going to use some batting to upholster with. And I'm happy with that. This is my gold paint I'm in fact going to use just now on the sides of our, where it's white, the polystyrene is sticking through. We're going to just paint them gold so it won't show out quite as much. I just want to check once again that this is the right size and level. Remember, it fits perfectly now. We could actually take a millimetre or two off because once we add the fabric on, it's going to be slightly tighter. So I'm going to sand that down so long, and I'll be back shortly. You'll see again I'm using one of my sanding blocks. It just makes it so much easier to work with. I hate working with a piece of sandpaper. I generally battle. I like working with a block. These are in fact nail blocks that are used by the nail technicians at our different beauty salons. And I buy them from there for my work. You'll see I use a lot of nail files and stuff. I just find them easier to handle than working with sandpaper. I do have a sanding machine, but I find it's just so much of a problem to set it up when I'm working with small projects. When I'm doing a house, I use my equipment, but you know what, for little projects like this where we're just really playing, I just use things like, I like to sit and relax while I'm doing these things. I'm in fact sitting in my lounge today. I'm not sitting at my desk. Hence you can see my knee in the background here and Penny on the floor. And over to our left hand side, you'll see our laptop is uploading our DVDs as we finish them. I've taken away about 2 mil here already, and I'm going to just test it again to make sure. I would rather, there we go, see it's quite a bit looser. So once I put my fabric on, it'll hold it back in place again. You can see inside it's going to be a lovely, I just want to mark it there so that I know also where it's pushing down to. Now I'm going to get my magic marker. My magic marker actually dissolves after a couple of days. Oh, that's our other camera telling us that it's flat at the moment. I want to just switch it off. There we go, just switching it off and taking the batteries out. It's shouting for the batteries to be charged. I work with 2 different cameras. I take photographs with the one, and I work doing the DVDs with the one that you're watching at the moment. Okay, I've marked off where our cushion is going to basically, not going to upholster that. So we're going to upholster to that point because we want it to slide in there and we want to create this space here. This is the space where we're going to have the teddies falling out and the toys. All just there, like you see Santa. I'm not going to take that away. I'm going to use that for decorations later on. The same as I'm not going to take this one away, because when we eventually find a reindeer, it's got to have stirrups and all the gear, and he's got to be able to hold the reins and things. So, right, I've marked that off. I'm happy with it. I'm going to let that dry for now. I work with a very thin batting. It is a quilting batting, and I'm going to, again, just generally plop some glue on, going around my edges, and not going past this part here. That part, I don't want any batting on there. So let's just pull that like that, and I'm going to just really put my batting down like that, and I'm going to trim it with my craft scissors. I don't want to make it very upholstered. I just want to give it a plush, comfy look. So I'm cutting it around where my edges are. If you can't see your edges, just turn it around. And you don't want to cut the wood with your scissors, it will damage your blades. Keep these little bits that we've got for later, for pillows and things. And there we go. Now, I really like this piece of fabric with the gold dots on. I thought it was a nice touch for Santa. So we're going to basically put it down, and I'm going to cover the whole thing. But before I put the sides down, I want to do all these bits. So work slightly. I want to just really just work around there. If I did this with Applique Magic or any of those, it would be a little bit easier. Okay, you'll see I put some glue